We're talking once again with Rabbi Leib Tropper, Shoel meishiv number 5. With the upcoming holiday of Purim, there are many questions that we'd like to ask. Among them are regarding the listening to Parshas Zachor. Given that it's a mitzvah that has a set time, are women obligated in Parshas Zachor and hearing it?
So you know that's a loaded question. Of course, it's a big machlekes. There's sfarim written just on that question alone. But women being mechayavis in Parshas Zachor. But let's stick to the primary poskim discuss this issue. Reb Shoel Leib Diskin, Zecher Tzadik v'Kodesh Levracha, in his tshuvas is mechayev noshim to do that, to listen to Parshas Zachor. Reb Nosson Adler, the Rabbi of the Chassam Sofer, quoted in the tshuvas Binyan Tzion, is also mechayev woman to go and say Parshas Zachor. The issue is whether or not somebody who is chayev to fight is chayev to remember to go and remember Zachor. Because the mitzvah is to Zachor Amalek, and we should destroy Amalek afterwards. But if they're not mechayev to go and destroy Amalek, women said maybe they're not mechayev to go and remember this whole episode. That's part of the machlekes in the poskim. So Lamaisa, the Chazon Ish was noig that he told the people they're not mechayev, women they're not mechayev in Parshas Zachor. I don't know what Rav Moshe did. I did not know. I know Moran Rabbi Yosef Shalom Eliyashiv Zechazek Levracha remained with this with the suffix most of the time. There are many poskim beside the Chazon Ish that hold that women are peturos from Parshas Zachor. So I cannot tell you what to do. I make it clear. I can tell you that there's machlokes poskim in ish v'yosher be'einav yaseh. Those who feel that they want to go hear Parshas Zachor, let them go hear Parshas Zachor. And those women who don't want to, they're not committing any crime. What I could tell you is that the husband has no right to dictate to the woman what to do about Parshas Zachor. Rav Moshe, there's a story with Rav Moshe which makes very clear that a woman has a minhag from her home or from somewhere else that does not interfere with the husband. The husband has no right to say, do this or do that. He cannot. He davens in Nusach he can't tell the daven Sfarad or Ashkenaz. Cannot. So, women could do what they want. The Chazon Ish and many other poskim hold that women are not mechuyavos in Parshas Zachor. Shmiyas Parshas Zachor.
All right. Another question that has come up is regarding Mashalach Manas. There seems to be a distinction between sending and giving. So is there a halachic difference between sending and giving?
Absolutely, Parrot. That's an interesting point. The Bir Halacha is mistapik in Hilchos Purim, whether one should do a dafka with a shliach, as it ma'akiv to do it with a shliach, which at the end, the Bir Halacha resolves this by suggesting that we should try to be makbid to do it through a shliach. The Chazon Ish was never makbid to do a shliach. He gave it himself. So when you ask the question about giving and sending, that's what the issue is. Is there a distinction between giving? Must I send it with the shliach? Mm-hmm. Of course, when maybe somebody's embarrassed, for whatever reason, that the Baal, the Noisen, the one who's giving the present, is there in front of him and giving it to him, or can he do it himself? So the Chazon Ish, like I mentioned, you need not the shliach. And most places you don't have to have dafka or shliach. Rabbi Kivega, interesting enough, in the Sefer Piskei Tshuvas, the collection of tshuvas from someone in Warsaw who collected these tshuvas of Gedolei Yisrael, quotes Rabbi Kivega in Chassam Sofer, that says as follows. He says that when do we say the concept of shliach is shliach adam k'moiseh. When I send somebody, it's like I did it. Shliach adam k'moiseh. But if k'moiseh is not allowed, then you can't have shliach adam k'moiseh because k'moiseh is not allowed. When k'moiseh is allowed, like by truma or by some other kind of mitzvah you're doing, tzedakah, so then the shliach is k'moiseh, like I'm doing it. But if you're saying you can't do it yourself, only shliach, then that can be shliach adam k'moiseh. So therefore, Kivega says it can be done by yourself. Otherwise, it would not work. And most poskim agree The shliach is not necessarily required. Maybe it's preferable, but not required the chalapachas. It's again being seen as mistapik in this, but l'alacha l'maisa, one does not have to give only through a shliach.
Is there a given shear, an amount pertaining to Mashalach Manas?
That's interesting because I remember when I used to see something that was very odd to me. I used to watch people giving Shalach Manas was like a cookie and a pretzel, or a pretzel and a piece, an almond or something like that. I remember in the yeshiva, like that's what they would do, put it in the bag and give it. That's not acceptable. It has to be a mana chashuva. You can't just give a pretzel and a lollipop. It's potato chips and a chesvos, half a tomato. I mean, you have to give a mana chashuva. It has to be something which is chashuv. And so, there was somebody.
Here's half my sandwich.
Exactly. Well, somebody used to send me every year a sandwich, a salami sandwich, because he heard that I like salami, so he sent me a salami sandwich every year, which is actually I used to eat it on Purim. But so like for example, we would send something which is easy on my wife, so it should be a nice full pineapple and a bottle of grape juice, a nice big bottle of grape juice, this carbonated grape juice. We send it, and it's chashuv. I mean, at least in terms of its money spent, it's chashuv. I can't tell you that much, and it has to be something that you can eat for the suda.
That's an interesting question. Can't be milchiks?
Oh, very good, Paris. I said, yes. One gadol b'Torah told me, Roy told me that for sure you can, because but the eved maybe you could be eating milchiks. I'm not sure. Probably you can the eved. But another Moira told me that l'chatchila it should not be milchiks. Should not be milchiks at all. And that's pretty much regarding that in terms of the shear of B'Shalach Manas. It's very important to know that.
All right, thank you very much, Rabbi.
Tropper.
Was there was one other question I wanted to ask you?
I think you have that.
I think that was pertaining also to other...
the kavanah, what kavanah? I think we meant what kavanah we need for Parshas Zohar, right?
What kavanah does a person have to have in mind?
In Parshas Zohar, yeah. So the reason why I'm mentioning that was a question that I was asked, because some people have a kavanah to be yaitzeh the mitzvah of schiras mechias Amalek, to remember to annihilate Amalek. The mitzvah is only to remember what Amalek did. Mm-hmm. That's all. Rabbi Yosef is madgish that he highlights that over and over again in the Sfarim. The mitzvah is only to remember, because we don't have mechias Amalek today. It's not Mashiach. Mashiach comes to Shem will have mechias Amalek, but today we don't have mechias Amalek. I just want to end this particular part of the Shalom meishiv with an interesting thought. People ask, "What is Yechidam in Yerushalayim? Like, what would you in tangible ways say Yerushalayim?" He said, Newman gives examples of somebody who pays immediately when he buys something, or doesn't wait for people. Another typical example is, let's say somebody, we'll ask the average person, if they saw an Amaleki in the desert all alone, with her child, 5-year-old son, very nice-looking, sweet-looking boy. He's sweet. And you're in a desert, it's parched, you can't, and he comes over to you with cold, freezing water. You have an opportunity to kill him, to do what the Torah tells you to do, and her. But they're so nice to you, and you're alone. Nobody would ever know that you did it. Would you or would you not kill them? Perhaps I never got a definite positive answer from a lot of people. When Avraham Avinu took his son Yitzchak, what HaKadosh Baruch was, Ato Yodati Kireli Kimata. Avraham Avinu was slaughter his son. His own son he was going to slaughter. So if a person could say, I don't know, after all, maybe we could give some heter and suspending your own judgment for the sake of Kodesh Baruch Hu's judgment. Shoel asked Mechila for what he did. He let the Amalekim live. What happened, parents? Hitler happened. Al tehei tzadik harbeis, like the Gemara. The Bereshit knows what he's doing. If he wanted Amalek to be destroyed, he knows what he's doing. We think, how could I do it? But if you'd ask the person, if that child in 30 years from now would be torturing your granddaughter, would you regret that you haven't killed him before? He knows everything. What's safe for listening to the Borei Olam? Thank you, Parrot. Thank you. And I wish everybody, all those who are the viewers, should have a Freilich and Purim. Emes, Freilich and Purim is a Chi of Simcha, and Purim, the Rambam writes, is a Chi of Simcha. particularly in during the Suda, there's a Chiyuv Simcha. And what's most important is that women are not required, absolutely not. The Gemara says it's a pretext for women to get drunk. The Sharatzim brings it down Lamaisa by making some zimun. Women can't get the wine because they drink the wine. It's not allowed to have in Gemara 62, Samach Beis. The Gemara says clearly that they can't do it. So we should be careful that this drunkenness doesn't become a widespread thing. It's men do it. Okay, but that's not. And it's according to Hersh Pesach Frank, and we paskin like that the mitzvah of getting drunk is only during the Seudah. It's not walking around all day long, drooling from your mouth, and look like a shor muad. That's not what the mitzvah of getting simcha is. And simcha also, even with the things that come out of your mouth, when you have this little intoxication, inebriation, should not be things chas v'shalom nivel peh. Should not be things that are inappropriate. Otherwise, you're not yet to the Seudas Purim. You're not yet to the chiv of shtiyas yayin. According to Yaakov Emden.
Can a person fulfill the mitzvah of Achal Yoda through sleeping, lahatkila?
According to the Rambam and according to the Hersh Pesach Frank, the Ramah got that from the Maharil. The Maharil got it from the Rambam. The Rambam does not. Rambam says you should have the Suda, drink wine, and out of drinking wine, you end up falling asleep. That's fine, but not to go to sleep just to lay down. To go put your pajamas on during the day. Go to the. But I don't want to bevatel minig Yisrael. If that's what the Posek may say, you're allowed to do that. So you're allowed to do that, but
especially if somebody would get out of hand or would be sick.
Then he's part from getting drunk. Period. The person who can act inappropriately, he's putter from getting drunk. Okay. Thank you. Nachamol gebench the Purim to everybody. Freilichem Purim. Rashi says in Tainis that fascinating word. Rashi says in Tainis, the Gemara says Mishenichnas Kishem Shem Mishenichnas Ab Memayin Besimcha is Mishenichnas Adar Marbim Besimcha. I says, well, I'm on Purim because there's two holidays because of Purim and Pesach. Not just because of Purim. The Shiva Zatzal of Chaim Berlin of Footnote used to say like this. The Gemara says, Mishenichas Av Memayit B'Simcha. Mishenichas Adar Mar B'Simcha. You increase the Simcha on Av and you decrease the Simcha on decrease on Av, you increase it on Adar. So you say like this, you say, okay, an Av a little less, an Adar a little more. A bissel mehr, a bissel weniger, but the main thing is Agantzia Freilich. And then he would start singing Agantzia Freilich. So Agantzia Freilich to everybody. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you very much.